What's up everybody, AnimeX here, and in this video I'll be adding yet another part into the What If Naruto was in the Anbu series. As you know, if you watched the last part of the series and just have been keeping track of the channel for a while, you'll know that this is the last What If that will take place within the realm of part 1. I'll explain what implications this has on the rest of the series at the end of the video, but just keep that in the back of your mind. No LEGO for this video. You guys can like it if you enjoy the video, but other than that, you can just relax, sit back, get a drink, some popcorn, and just enjoy. As usual, I'll be recapping the last part of the What If before jumping into the new material. So, without further ado, let's get started. Now, in the last part of this What If, a lot of things actually happened. We had a few developments with Danzo and Naruto's relationship. Danzo and Naruto kind of had an interaction that led to the climax of the fight between them. They were actually interacting, fighting a little bit, with Naruto being pitted up against his old comrades, being the Anbu Black Ops members, and more specifically people like Sai and other people that he would have known within those, the Anbu, right? And he basically was attacked by Danzo, and during this attack, he was really explained to everything that Danzo was planning, and that being killing Sasuke, along with a lot of other things strung together that would have basically gotten rid of a few Akatsuki members for Danzo. Now, we last left off with Naruto realizing that Sasuke has left the village, and he himself deciding to leave in order to chase and capture Sasuke. So that's where we'll jump back into the story. Now, like I said, we left off with Naruto fending for his life against Danzo before realizing that Sasuke had left the village and going after him. Naruto was able to catch sight of some of Sasuke's residual chakra, along with chakra signatures that resemble Orochimaru's in nature, which makes Naruto pretty confused. Although knowing he doesn't have much time, he continues to rush after the chakra as quickly as possible. As Naruto is running, his mind is going back and replaying the events of the past few days, and finds himself in a daze as he rushes forward. While in this daze, Naruto finds himself almost running directly into a tree at his top speed, although he's able to maneuver his body out of the way just in time. As Naruto runs, he has his Sharingan out, looking around and taking in everything around him, which is why he notices a trap that might have caught him off guard without the analytical ability of the Uchiha Dojutsu. He stops dead in his tracks as he looks before him and sees hundreds of wires strung together with such skill and proficiency that they are almost invisible to the human eye, even when super close. Naruto also guesses that if he would have been running at full speed into the string with this much tension and tensile strength, he'd either have been ensnared and tangled within the string for hours, or torn to ribbons upon contact with these wires. This means I'm on the right track then. Naruto then pulls out a sword and cuts through this and continuing this mission. Naruto finally thinks that he is caught up because he finally sees someone's chakra very similar to Orochimaru in the clearing. Naruto leaps into the air and lands gracefully before sprinting full speed towards this person and kicking them in the stomach to knock them down. When Naruto does this, the guy he was attacking falls to the ground with a rather large impact. Naruto then backflips away, pulls out a kunai, and steadies himself as he needs info on Sasuke. Where did Sasuke go? The person he just attacked then struggles to his feet. Sasuke? Oh, you mean that brat we just got from the village? I just had him, but he moved on with the rest of the team. Team? Naruto says it's puzzled, but keeps his eyes trained on the opponent in front of him. If Sasuke isn't with you, then I have no reason to bother myself with someone of your caliber. Naruto then rushes past him as he wants to head to Sasuke and get to him at full speed. Oh no you don't. Jirobo then activates his first stage curse mark and grabs Naruto's foot as he tries to rush past. He can keep up with me at this level of speed? Naruto is confused as he didn't seem this strong or fast a mere moment ago, and Naruto then just spins his foot and he slams his free leg into Jirobo's head, which makes him release his grip on Naruto's foot. Maybe thinking you'd let me pass was a little naive, but if you think I'm not going to get past you, you're sorely mistaken. Naruto then decides to use some more of his speed as he passes Jirobo and completely blitzes him before spinning and kicking him in the back. After this, he, dusts himself off and asks, "Quick question. Are all of your teammates around this level of strength? Because if so, getting Sasuke back should be a breeze." Jirobo then gets angry and decides to activate his second stage curse mark. "You fool! You've gone and done it now! Now that I've accessed this stage of curse mark, I'm 10 times stronger than I previously was!" Jirobo then grabs a huge rock from the earth and hefts it above his head. "Now die!" He then slams the rock onto the ground as hard as he possibly can. "I told you. You stood no chance against me." Jirobo starts to walk off until he looks back and sees that the rock that he slammed onto Naruto had been sliced to bits, with Naruto himself standing there unfazed and unharmed by that last attack. How did you survive that? Who are you? Naruto then walks towards Jirobo as his fear is clearly taking his body over. What am I? I'm many things, Jirobo. I'm a shinobi. I'm someone on a mission. But for you, specifically, I'm the Grim Reaper. Naruto then disappears from Jirobo's sight and slices him to pieces. He then sheathes his sword. I need to pace myself. I could have more enemies to face, so I need to make sure to conserve my stamina. Naruto then uses his Sharingan to see which direction to run in, then pulls his headband down as he rushes off to where Sasuke's residual chakra is the strongest. As Naruto charges through the forest, he tries to think ahead and imagine what possible next steps he can take, and after he grabs Sasuke and he can get him onto his side. Before Naruto can really draw any conclusions on what his next move should be, however, Naruto senses an attack incoming, and he dives to the side in order to dodge this attack. As Naruto dodges to his right, he sees a white object fly by him and slam into a tree. Naruto then turns to see another opponent, holding a barrel with extra pairs of arms. Naruto counts him up. 3 pairs of arms, 6 arms in total. Naruto recognizes that this is probably the capsule that Sasuke is being transported in, and as such, Naruto starts formulating a plan on how to catch this guy off guard with an attack and bring back Sasuke in one fell swoop. Before he can implement this strategy, however, Kidomaru tosses the barrel to another ninja and she runs off. Damn it. Looks like I'm gonna have to kill you as well if I hope to go after Sasuke, huh? Naruto then unsheathes his sword once more and points it at Kidomaru. Oh, you must have taken down Jirobo in order to make it this far. Don't get cocky though, because he is the weakest and dumbest of us all. While I, however, hold the title of second strongest, so beware. Kidomaru then spits out a white substance that Naruto recognizes as dangerous, and he dodges. Naruto jumps to a tree branch before exploding off of it and leaping at Kidomaru at full speed. He slashes at his throat, ready to decapitate him with one single blow, although when his sword connects, it stops at his neck. Huh? Naruto was then kicked in the stomach as his sword was unable to pierce Kidomaru's golden armor. Naruto quickly recovers from this and flips a couple of times before landing on a tree branch safely. This guy does seem to be pretty strong and fast, at least faster than the other guy. I'll have to try something different. Naruto then leaps off of a tree and throws 10 kunai at Kidomaru. These attacks are easily deflected initially, making Kidomaru think he has the upper hand here. Naruto then smirks as he starts whipping his hands around at extremely high speeds that Kidomaru can barely follow with his eyes. As his hands whip around, Kidomaru catches a glimpse of a string on his hands and realizes what is happening only a second too late. Naruto pulls his hand back as all the strings connect to his kunai and fingers wrap around Kidomaru's body and ensnare him completely. Damn it! How'd you do this? Kidomaru starts struggling and resisting against these razor-thin wires to no avail. Naruto then jumps over to him. You're gonna tell me what you did with Sasuke now. Naruto then starts tightening the string around him, forcing his breath from his chest and making him bleed from multiple parts of his body. Now start talking! Kidomaru keeps gasping for breath and finally opens his mouth to speak. Go to hell! Naruto's eyes then widen as curse marks spread across Kidomaru's skin and start transforming him. You are strong, I'll give you that. I won't waste your time by entering my first state. I'll just obliterate you at my strongest. Kidomaru then snaps these strings and punches Naruto down to the ground. Naruto gets up rather quickly and puts his recently dislocated shoulder back in place. Naruto then looks back up at the tree where Kidomaru used to be and darts his eyes around. Damn it, did he run away? As Naruto's looking around, he then hears a slight movement in the trees and rustling leaves. Naruto then turns to hear the sound of a bowstring being taut with tension, then being launched. As Naruto hears this, his body leaps to the left and ducks in order to escape being hit by this destructive jutsu. Naruto then hears cackling in the woods around him from Kidomaru being super excited for having such a fun fight, such fun prey to attack. Kidomaru then knocks another arrow before tying a web to it so he can control its trajectory in midair. 100% power, 100% accuracy. This time, as the arrow travels towards him, Naruto is more prepared and leaps to the side, dodging the initial strike. Naruto smirks as he thinks that he's escaped the attack completely until he sees the arrow make a 90-degree turn and turn directly towards him once more as it pierces Naruto's belly and sends him to the ground. Instantly, Naruto substitutes out of this attack and turns into a log, evading the dangers of this attack. Naruto finds himself hidden behind a tree, breathing heavily as he is just barely able to activate Body Flicker in time to correctly use the substitution jutsu. I can't conserve any stamina against this guy. I guess I'll have to use my Sharingan against him. Naruto then lifts his headband up and takes in a deep breath, then rushes into the clearing, formulating his plan and knowing what he needs to do to take this guy down. While Naruto is in the clearing, Kidomaru changes his arrow type so that it spins with even greater speed and greater destructive force. He even opens his third eye on his head to enhance his perception to the highest degree and give him the utmost accuracy as he knocks another arrow. 120% power, 120% accuracy. Kidomaru then fires his arrow as it sails true and fast towards Naruto's chest. Naruto sees this arrow with his Sharingan and sees the path that it'll take, and what it will do if Naruto dodges. Naruto sees it play out exactly as he calculates in his mind, as he dodges to the right, evading ever so slightly and forcing Kidomaru to change its direction. As this happens, Naruto sees that it loses some speed and velocity on each turn and sees his golden opportunity. He then dodges one more time, this time backwards, as Kidomaru forces himself to change the arrow's direction once more. As this happens, Naruto sees that it's lost even more speed. He then sticks his hands out in front of his body and diverts every ounce of chakra that he can muster into his palms and holds them out as the arrow flies straight towards him. As the arrow hits his palm, he feels a tremendous amount of pain as it spins and drills a hole through Naruto's palms and into his chest. He then flies back through a couple of trees and collapses. Kidomaru smiles in triumphance and laughs out into the air. "I've won! Lord Orochimaru will be very pleased with me that I've stopped you. You were a fun and worthy opponent, but that is all. It's a shame that you didn't introduce yourself, but that's fine. I'll remember your fight." Kidomaru then hears something behind him and sees an opponent, or his opponent, clearly alive with his arrow still piercing his hand and moving at him fast, and too fast for him to do anything. "I didn't introduce myself? How rude of me." Naruto then rushes and stabs Kidomaru with his arrow in his own chest. "The name is Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. Pleased to meet you." Kidomaru then coughs up blood and falls from the tree branch he was on onto the ground, dead. Naruto then gets a hold of the arrow, piercing his hands, and with his teeth pulls out the large arrow and leaves a large hole in his hands. Damn it, that hurts. Naruto then feels his body as he slumps over from the repercussions of getting stabbed through the hands and the arrow flying right through his flesh, but it stopped right before it could have touched his heart, just as Naruto planned. Naruto pulls down his headband and sits on the tree branch, trying to assess everything around him and recuperate before rushing off to fight even more opponents. Naruto wraps bandages around both of his hands, trying to negate all of the blood loss from the gaping hole in his hand. He still could barely grip things, and he decides that he's going to need to wrap up his torso in bandages as well to slow the bleeding. Holding a sword is going to be difficult in this condition, but I'll just have to deal with it. After doing this, Naruto gets up and pulls his headband back down, or keeps it down. Naruto then rushes in the direction that he saw the other two enemies run in. As Naruto runs, he notices that about every 5 minutes his vision blurs heavily since his fight with Kidomaru. He seems to be suffering from a massive amount of blood loss, but he tries to push himself. "Come on, body, just hang in there a little bit longer. I promise, I'll get the boost that I need soon." Naruto finally catches up, seeing Tayuya, Sakon, and Ukon all resting on a tree branch. Naruto rests from above as well, catching his breath and eating his chakra while they don't realize that he's still there. After charging his chakra up for a bit, Naruto then makes a shadow clone that spreads itself out. He then leaps into the air, placing himself directly above them, then weaves the hand seals for a fireball jutsu. He launches it down at them. As he shoots it, the two Sound Ninja leap to opposite side just as he planned. He then leaps off of a tree at Tayuya, and his clone leaps at the combined Sakon and Ukon, ready to kill them instantly. However, for a brief second, Naruto's vision blurs and his body starts locking up, not responding to his whims, giving Tayuya just enough time to react and kick Naruto away, forcing him to once again fight in another drawn-out battle. Damn it, my body still isn't fully recovered. Naruto then sees that his clone was destroyed by Ukon and Sakon as well, and Naruto just sighs. He knows that if he has to fight these two separately and chase after one of them, he won't have enough energy to bring Sasuke back. Naruto needs to keep them together. "Come on! I'll take both of you on right now. I already killed 2 of your comrades. It won't take too much to kill 2 more. Naruto then takes 3 kunai out of his pouch. He places one in his mouth, while he very gently holds the other 2 in his hands. Naruto also lifts up his headband, revealing his Sharingan. As he does this, he hears the sound of a flute hit his ears, and as soon as this happens, Naruto's body turns rigid, unresponding once again. Genjutsu? Naruto then feels something slam into his body while he's in this state. He quickly looks at the blade of one of his kunai and uses the reflection of it to cast that Sharingan Genjutsu on himself to break Tayuya's hold. Naruto then looks at Tayuya intently with his Sharingan as they make brief eye contact. Naruto is then about to leap in her direction, but soon realizes that something is off with his body. He looks down and realizes that Ukon and Sakon, through unknown means to him, have combined with him and now had influence on his body. "We've combined with you on a cellular level. There isn't a single damn thing that you can do about that." Naruto then smiles as he holds his kunai to his chest and asks, "Since we are combined, anything that happens to my body happens to yours, huh? That's interesting. Let's see who will survive this blow." Naruto then stabs himself in the side, which makes blood spill out from him, making Sakon and Ukon leave his body after taking heavy damage. "Are you crazy? Not only are we gonna die from this wound, but you are too, you fool!" Naruto then spits out some blood onto the ground. "So? Only a fool enters a battle without considering the possibility of death. That makes you a fool." Naruto then brings out his sword, holds it as tight as he can with his open wounded hands, and slices through Sakon and Ukon without a second thought. Naruto then turns to Tayuya, who is dumbstruck during this whole endeavor. She quickly snaps out of her stupor and keeps her eyes trained on Naruto and starts playing her flute. Naruto rushes over to Tayuya, seemingly ignoring her genjutsu before kicking her in the face. She keeps playing the flute, and he keeps walking through it, clearly hearing it, acknowledging the sound, but not being affected. "How is this possible? You shouldn't be able to move through my genjutsu." Naruto then turns his head to the side. "Do you think that you're the only one with genjutsu?" Naruto's Sharingan then gleams at Tayuya and her eyes widen. How long have I been under your genjutsu?" Naruto then raises an eyebrow to this question. How long? I think the more pressing question is, how long were you under the impression that you weren't under my genjutsu? Naruto then lifts his sword up into the air and stabs Tayuya in the chest, finishing her off with one single blow. Naruto then summons some of Kurama's chakra, and all of his major wounds begin to start healing themselves, closing off his hand wounds, chest wounds, and even the self-inflicted wound from earlier, along with a few fractured or broken bones that he may have. Naruto then turns around to retrieve the barrel, and he sees someone dashing away with it at high speeds. Naruto curses himself for his ignorance and his ability, or his lack thereof, to grab the barrel, and he quickly turns and rushes after them, until they leave the forest and find themselves in a grassy field. The person who took Sasuke then turns around, and Naruto's eyes widen as he sees who it is. Kimimaro. It would be my luck to have to fight against you as a final boss, huh? After I'm tired and weakened? Just my luck. Naruto then brandishes his sword towards him. Naruto Uzumaki. If you get in my way, I will kill you in Orochimaru's name. Naruto then has a huge grin appear on his face. Alright, Kimimaro. This will be the match to settle everything. You won the first time. I won the second time. Let's see who has best 2 out of 3. Naruto and Kimimaro then charge at each other. Naruto brings his sword down in an attempt to cut him, but Kimimaro uses his armor to block this attack without too much damage being taken. The two exchange blows for a bit, with Naruto using a combination of parries and blocks to create openings for sword attacks, although Kimimaro seems to be able to tank or dodge every single blow that Naruto throws his way. The two finally, after a bit of clashing, jump back. You're as tough as always, Kimimaro. Naruto then sheathes his sword. Looks like it'll come down to a war of attrition then. Kimimaro nods as the curse marks spread across his body. Looks like it will. Naruto. Naruto then disappears from his vision for a brief second, before reappearing behind him with a solid kick to the chest. Kimimaro doesn't budge, just like expected, but Naruto isn't finished. As soon as the first kick lands, Naruto slams his hands into the ground, which holds him upright. He then throws another kick, then another, and another, each kick raising Kimimaro off of the ground ever so slightly. Just as his body and Kimimaro's leave the ground, Naruto lifts his hands up to weave hand seals and release a fireball jutsu that sends Kimimaro flying higher into the air. Then, Naruto falls into his back, jumps back up, and weaves hand seals for the water dragon jutsu, which sends him even higher into the air. Now, Naruto, knowing that this wouldn't be enough and knowing that this durability is insane, continues the combo. He launches hundreds of shuriken and kunai with wires, all of them that wrap around him while in midair. Naruto then sends lightning release through these wires to electrocute the already soaked Kimimaro. Then, to finish this up, Naruto yanks Kimimaro down into the ground as hard as he can and slams him into the ground, which makes a huge implosion. Naruto keeps his distance with his kunai at the ready, just in case Kimimaro is still able to move. Although we can't imagine Kimimaro surviving such an impact of that magnitude with no damage right after being hit by all of those jutsu. Now, after the smoke clears, Naruto sees the silhouette of someone leaving the rubble before walking out into the open completely unscathed in his second curse mark state. No. No way. I mean, I get that you're durable, but to tank all of that with no damage should be impossible. Kimimaro then brushes himself off as he slowly walks towards Naruto. That last attack was good, Naruto. Full of power and packed a hell of a punch. In fact, if I hadn't activated this state, I would have been dead before I even hit the ground. I find it impressive. Now draw your sword and face me at your full strength, or else you won't be able to keep up. Kimimaro then grabs his spine and pulls it out of his body. Naruto then brandishes his own sword and sends Raiton directly into his blade. He then lifts his headband and rushes directly at Kimimaro. The two clash with each other, both being in a deadlock of blades. Naruto is struggling to keep up with the overwhelming strength that Kimimaro seems to have, and just as Naruto is starting to press against Kimimaro's blade, it then transforms into a whip-like weapon, moving at the joints and wraps around Naruto's blade, grabbing his arms and the blade in one fell swoop. He then swings his arm high into the air, which sends Naruto, along with his sword, into the air, moving dozens and even hundreds of feet into the air, while below, Kimimaro prepares a large bone-based jutsu. As Naruto flies into the air, he remembers something important that Danzo once gave him. He finally thinks that this is the time. Naruto finally takes it out of the container that once held the second Sharingan. He pulls out his own eye and replaces it within the container. He then subs a Sharingan into his eye, with keeping his regular eye within that jar, and luckily, it's already in the same state as Naruto's other Sharingan, Tsutomo. Naruto then starts to fall down, and when he looks down, he sees the ground is now covered in bones, where no grass is visible. Naruto then flips down and lands on one of these bone structures looking for Kimimaro. As he surveys the area, the hairs on Naruto's body all stand on end. Even though Naruto can't locate him with his eyes, Naruto's natural body's alarm system is screaming at him to dodge, move, or run, and really anything to just avoid Kimimaro's attack. Naruto listens to these senses and jumps back into the air, just in time to dodge Kimimaro protruding from a bone-based structure. Naruto then flips backwards and lands on another bone. This time, Naruto feels something touch his cheek before he decides to move to his left, just barely dodging and avoiding being decapitated by Kimimaro. Naruto leaps away. And when he lands, he wipes some blood off of his cheek before looking at his hand and sees that it's trembling. What? What is this? Am I afraid? Naruto then squeezes his hand tighter, trying to negate the fear, and still sees that it's shaking. No, that can't be it. I haven't felt fear in years. I'm having fun. Naruto then looks up and just barely parries a strike from Kimimaro, although the impact does blow Naruto back. I'm having fun in a fight for my life? Why? Naruto then deflects a few of Kimimaro's strikes and returns with some attacks of his own. Why am I having fun? Naruto then hears an answer. Hears a voice in the back of his head answer his question as he gets cut. It's because I can die in this fight. It's because I can fight at my true capacity. Naruto then leaps into the air and shoots a fireball down at the ground. I don't know who has the advantage in this fight. That's why I can't stop shaking. Naruto then slowly starts laughing as his whole body starts shaking and convulsing. His body shakes violently with laughter as he turns his blade to Kimimaro. Come on, Kimimaro. It's time to see which one of us is stronger. In this one blow, we'll see who deserves to walk out of this fight alive. Naruto feels himself being filled with chakra and strength as he charges directly at Kimimaro. He sends the lightning to his blade, and he and Kimimaro run at each other before slicing. Both swing speeds have equal strength and equal power behind them, and this time, with each of them bringing their swords down, Kimimaro brings his blade down and looks at Naruto. As he brings his blade down, he sees that Naruto is smiling the entire time, even though his life, along with Kimimaro's life, is in grave danger. As Naruto and Kimimaro bring their sword down, Naruto brings it down, slamming it into Kimimaro's shoulder, although, upon bringing it down, the blade snaps in two. Naruto's smile fades. His eyes then widen, but not in fear and disappointment from his lack of ability. He then resigns, knowing that he'll be killed, knowing that that was his last chance to win. And as he brings his sword down, Kimimaro is the one who seems to be apologizing in his head. I'm sorry, Orochimaru. I failed. Kimimaro then stops moving completely, right before Naruto is able to be killed, and right before Naruto was able to stab with his own sword. Naruto then finishes his attack with half of his sword, slashing down at Kimimaro, who died right before the battle was decided. Naruto has anger behind his eyes as he looks at Kimimaro. Damn it. You were a worthy opponent. You deserved more than just to die like that. Naruto then closes his eyes and closes Kimimara's eyes for him before using an earth-based jutsu to bury him in respect. After this, Naruto turns to see the barrel's lid being removed and Sasuke Uchiha leaving the barrel. Naruto calls out to him, but Sasuke ignores this and runs off. Naruto then runs off, trying to catch up to Sasuke to no avail, until they both arrive at the final valley. After the two arrive at the final valley, Naruto calls out to Sasuke once more. Sasuke! I'm here! I need to explain something very important to you. Sasuke then turns around from across the valley and reveals his marked face to Naruto. Naruto squints after seeing this and leaps over the valley to Sasuke to see exactly what happened to him. Once he makes a jump, he walks over to Sasuke and sees a curse mark-like thing that spans across his face. Sasuke? What happened to you? Naruto then takes a step forward, putting his hand on Sasuke's shoulder, but Sasuke pulls away. You aren't worth my time anymore, Naruto. Leave me be. Naruto then chuckles slightly, then his expression turns angry as he punches Sasuke in the back of the head and slams him onto the ground. Not worth your time? Sasuke, you better watch your tone. You make it seem like you are stronger than me. Sasuke then turns around and looks at Naruto. That's exactly what I'm saying, Naruto. Naruto then chuckles. Sasuke, the only thing special about you is your Sharingan, which I also have now. So what makes you so confident? Sasuke, when hearing that Naruto claiming to have a Sharingan, then looks back at Naruto's eyes and realizing that he has not one Sharingan like Kakashi, but two. His body is overwhelmed with rage and confusion as he doesn't know why or how Naruto has his eyes. He then charges Naruto, getting up and slamming him onto the ground. Where did you get those, Naruto? Tell me! Sasuke screams this at Naruto and throws a punch that Naruto moves his head to slightly dodge. Sasuke, let's make a wager. I still owe you a sparring match, so we'll get this done in 2 birds, 1 stone. If you win, I'll explain everything about me and my eyes. If I win, you listen to what I have to say. Does that sound good? Sasuke then smirks as he lets Naruto up. Sounds fine. Prepare to explain yourself, Naruto, because I demand to know why you have those eyes. Sasuke then leaps back and activates his Sharingan. Naruto then charges up some of his chakra as the two leap at each other. Sasuke is the first one to throw a punch, which Naruto, seeing that the speed is similar to how it would have been before, makes a mistake of blocking, thinking that Sasuke is the same person as he was mere days ago. When he blocks this attack, however, he is surprised by the new strength behind this punch and is sent flying across the final valley. He also feels his shoulder pop out of place when he takes his hit, and he shifts it back into place while he's falling down into the water. Once he lands, he looks up to see Sasuke in his curse mark state, coming down from the statue at full speed, hoping to catch Naruto off guard. Now, Naruto, however, realizes that Sasuke is a lot faster and stronger than he previously was, and has his guard up. He's able to dodge this attack. The two of them both get in close combat with each other, each person throwing a punch or kick that gets countered repeatedly, with both of them being deadlocked in skill. Naruto then pulls a kunai out and swipes at Sasuke, cutting his hand before kicking him in the stomach into a nearby cliffside. Naruto thinks that he's knocked Sasuke out, only to see him leave from the rebel in his Curse Mark II state. I told you, Naruto, you're going to tell me where you got those eyes. Naruto's eyes widen as he gets blitzed by this Sasuke, grabbed in the face and thrown into the next cliffside, with half of his body nearly snapping in two from the impact. Now Naruto is quickly able to pull himself out of this rubble, and now that he's in the one-tailed state, Kurama amping his chakra to the absolute max, making him stronger than he's ever felt before. As this chakra grows over Naruto's body, his bones snap back into place, the bleeding all over his body stops, and the Sharingan evolves to its third Tomoe just as Sasuke's does. Sasuke then starts weaving hand seals and makes a Chidori. Naruto, I'm going to end it in this single blow, okay? He then looks over that valley and sees that Naruto, using the Sharingan, copied this technique to the letter. Mind if I borrow this, Sasuke? Because I intend to finish it in one blow too. Naruto and Sasuke then both have huge smiles, angry smiles, happy smiles, confident smiles appear on their faces as they know that whatever happens, it will be decided in this last blow. They then both charge at each other and slam their attacks at each other. When they clash, both Naruto and Sasuke create an explosion and are set flying in opposite directions. Just due to sheer luck, Sasuke is sent flying into the rubble with his head landing on a rock, meaning that he's knocked unconscious, with Naruto landing on his back and just barely clinging to consciousness. As he walks over, crawls over to Sasuke and stands above him. I win, Sasuke. I win. And that, everybody, is where I'm going to end part 9 to the What If Naruto was in the Anbu series. If you guys did enjoy the video and, just enjoyed it in general, you guys can hit the like button. Like I said in the beginning, there is no specific like goal to this video. Just like it if you enjoyed. If you don't feel like liking, do you. If you guys are new to the channel, right, and you've just been watching this series, or even if you're just watching the series out of order for some reason, and you did enjoy it, make sure to body slam that subscribe button. Just grab it, body slam it, and make sure to hit the bell notifications as well, because that will make sure that you guys are alerted to all of my content. I know that if you guys just hit the subscribe button, sometimes YouTube doesn't give you guys notifications, and, I do want you guys to be notified when my videos come out. So, go ahead, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're alerted. As usual, I'll be leaving links to my second channel along with my other social media, that kind of good stuff, Instagram, Discord, Twitter, all that good stuff down below. That way you guys can interact with me on my personal levels and just be alerted to certain things that I won't be making videos on or declaring on the community tab. Now, as for the future of this series, I obviously am going to continue it. I know a lot of people really do like this series, just based on how many people are probably going to be in this premiere. I know that you guys are going to enjoy it. I would just like to say that it will be continuing, although at minimum, the bare minimum, when the series will come back is next Friday. That is the soonest that it will come back. I will be taking at least a week break, maybe, just maybe, I'm not 100% sure yet. I will be taking maybe a 2-week break from this to kind of act as a time skip between part 1 of Naruto and Shippuden, just to let you guys know that, just in case you guys were worrying or wondering how long the break is going to be. It's going to be about a week. That way I can catch up on some other what ifs, get those up to speed, focus on those, and focus on making this story even better than it already has been. This has been kind of a pretty cool roller coaster with you guys liking the videos, and me putting out content that you guys seem to be enjoying. So this actually might be I think it's been a pretty good month for the YouTube channel so far. Been grinding, been live streaming, doing all that good stuff. And speaking of live streaming, I will be streaming after this. So for all 500 to 1,000 people that are in here, go watch the live stream. But anyways, as usual, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, guys, this is Anime X signing off.